Hello, happy Saturday, LoveTubers, baby. Ooh, yes, honey, it's been busy. Um, I've written up a bunch of stuff since I have last actually got on here for a live. But with me, I wanted to make sure I wanted to get out and see that Ghostbuster movie. Excellent, by the way. I'm not going to do any spoilers right now, but I did write up a few things I wanted to talk about that I think um, should be busted as far as ghost in the system. And then also, I have, after the show, I went ahead and I caught an Uber there. All right, just going to talk to y'all for a minute. I caught an Uber there. The first Uber I called backed into my driveway, turned around, left me. I chased the Uber halfway down the street. The mail lady seen the Uber speed up. They tried to charge me $6 for that. And of course, I thought it wasn't no way to leave a complaint. I just said he rejected picking me up. Um, the second Uber was a nice man from South Africa. Uh, I wouldn't be able to, his beautiful accent, you wouldn't be able to tell it by um, talking to him. And he married someone here in the United States. He said, well, maybe he had an emergency. Somebody's pregnant and it couldn't wait. Okay. So, anyway, I don't know what happened there, but I got to the show about um, an hour late by the time I got finished messing with the Ubers. So I got to Ghostbusters. I told the lady up front what had happened because she asked me how my day went. Hola, ¿cómo está? Ah, saw ramen. All right. And then she says, "Oh my gosh." She said, "That is just a horrible experience." It was. It was a horrible experience because I ran about halfway down the block and I'm not slow when it comes to moving and booking. I used to run track. And then so we started to look up my ticket because I had pre-booked the ticket uh, like a few days ahead ago. I wanted to make sure I had everything in order, and I'm not the type to like to get up there last minute to purchase something. I like to have everything ready and just go on into the establishment. Thank you, sugar. So we trying to ring up this ticket. The ticket is not ringing up for anything. And then because I was about an hour late, she was going to give me exchange it for a more current show. Good, because I really wanted to see this movie. I'm a huge, huge Ghostbuster fan. Um, on my email to the code, even with us blowing it up. So she ended up giving me a guest pass. I said, I'm so thankful. I thought the movie theater I was going to was going to be downtown. It is not. It had me all the way on the south side of town off of US 31, even though it said South Meridian. I haven't been on South Meridian in forever. So, with the wonderful time that I was given, because in between time, between the show and the rides and everything, I was posting stuff I had on YouTube that I hadn't got to yet, and dressing it and making it public. And so by the time I left the movie theater, I was done doing that. Whatever I had in my to-do list for YouTube had been completed at that time. I said, well, I'm really inspired by this movie. I had a talk with a friend of mine, fan, in regards to the topic of the conversations was where did I want, what were my fantasies basically. So I sent over I told him I had got the ghost gown. I was going to the show, and then I had given him a couple of examples. I'm going to share those with you here in just a few moments. And then after the show, based off of the examples that I gave him, and with me, the trip on the bus, I didn't catch an Uber back. I had another establishment to go to. I caught the bus to the other establishment after I left the movies. And I said, well, it's an hour and 40-minute ride. So I got 2 chapters of my next book done. Just like that, because I was at the buses I didn't even know existed. What side of the street does the bus pick you up on? And the young gentleman was so polite. He said, it's on the other side of the street, man. You just stand right on over there and it'll take you downtown and you can pick any bus that you want to pick. I said, oh, okay, then. So a lot of last minute things I learned in regards to show planning yesterday when I am thrown off of what I originally have scheduled. Um, so I was on the bus, I started writing. Uh, It'll be my first ghost story. Speaking of stories, um, I worked on, I'm always working on something. So the 7 African powers, I have finished my grammar and everything. And I am formatting. I mean, it's done with grammar, sentence structure, spelling, punctuation. I'm just doing the formatting, double checking it, and whatever spaces I need in between, and adding the bows here and there. Yeah, I'm just doing formatting right now on that. And then the Spanish one, I've decided I'm just going to break that one up into 2 books since it's uh, so large, and I'm having an issue as far as uploading it into the Canva. And then when I tried to do it in the, what was the other? I tried using Kittle. Kittle wanted you to upgrade, and I've already paid for Canva for a year. We're not doing that. And then Adobe, I believe it's Adobe, and you can only do 99 pages at a time. Well, when I translated the book from English to Spanish, Espanol, then it was the book in English is almost 200 pages. Okay. And then in Espanol, it's about 212 right now. Now, if I put it in a book, I don't want to take it out of a book. Um, I want you to have the same impact that the English version has. So um, I'm going to have to see what I can do about that if I'm going to do 2 books and try to keep them within the 99-page range. But I may have to change a few things around, or I may have to learn not to be as wordy and still give the same wonderful power punch in regards to poetry and storytelling. All right. Hello, Anus Idrisi. Oh, they holding one for review. Okay. All right. So let's get started. Let's see. I wrote a few things. So I'm going to share a little bit. See what time it is, 4:18. And I hadn't seen a movie at the movie theater since Aretha Franklin Respect with Jennifer Hudson. So to get me out the house, yeah, for something other than the library, yeah, or a poetry spot or performance, yeah, that's kind of different. So I made time for that, and I'm glad that I did. Let's see here. Since I just wrote it 2 days ago. Bouncy. Oops, whoopsie daisy. Well, maybe I'm going to be doing the story first. All right, fine. So, what I wrote yesterday instead of 2 days ago, I'll go back to that in a minute. I got a bunch of emails. Um, I'll give you a little sample. So, I love as a writer the concept of how coming up with ideas. When the Ghostbuster movie started, it started in Manhattan. I said, oh, which makes sense. It's one of the larger, um, yeah, New York and Cali and places like that. It makes sense. All right, so this is called Chapter One. It's a summary of Chapter One, and I'm just going to title it "The Haunting Desires." Waterloo, New York, stood silent under a blanket of snow, its streets deserted on this chilling winter night. The wind, like a malevolent spirit, whispered through the air, painting the scene with an eerie touch. Above, the crescent moon hung in the sky, casting its spectral light upon the world below. Audubon, also known as Audie, found herself in Waterloo on a business trip, a venture shrouded in scandal and secrets as a software engineer at King's Input. She embarked on this journey to seal a crucial deal, her mind focused on success despite the frigid embrace of winter. Audie, a woman of Dominican and Haitian descent, possessed a beauty that rivaled the moon's glow. Her crimson locks cascaded down her back, a fiery constraint to the snowy landscape. With a physique sculptured by dedication and determination, she moved with confidence, clad in stilettos that echoed her determination. But beneath her composed exterior lay a yearning, a hunger for something more than business negotiations. It had been too long since passion had stirred within her, too long since she had felt the warmth of intimacy. Her destination, the house on Center Street, held promises of comfort and solitude. Little did she know of the whispers that lurked within its walls, tales of spirits long gone but unwilling to depart. So that's just a brief summary of what I came up with while I was on the bus yesterday. So, yes, just by going to watch the movie. So, very inspirational. And since I'm a little witchy, a lot witchy, um, that filled my passion and my desire. And I'll be working on that more once I wanted to get the idea down and out of me. So I had some place to start. But I'll be working on that more once I have concluded these endorsements and got them to moving. So yeah, I hope you liked that. And then let's see. Oh, I do invite you to my OnlyFans. I will be doing live readings, live sexy readings, Monday starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time this Monday. That way I can advertise the book and then also get you a copy of the book digitally. So, for those who attend, so it's like whatever you're spending, you're getting it free back because the book which took me quite a bit of time. Uh, it's an exchange for coming. Now let's see. Oh, we've got the first coming around the corner, and I said I want to start on the 4 Hour Work Week book. So for the new month, half an hour to an hour a day, we'll be doing that book until completion because I need to read it and get it in me. And so if I do, that means somebody else must want to as well. All right. I must not have sent it to myself. Let me put culture in. Culture. February 17th. I must have imagined it. Okay, that's all right. Let's talk about something else. Um, and I'll just come back to that at a later date. I got a lot to cover anyway with y'all. So I have my first video that I have like a story, like somebody did a story on me, or they did a story using my name. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dissect it for you. Okay. Hmm. I was completing the 7 African powers um, as far as drafting it up. And this is before. And I had made sure to, I had wanted to listen to a few stories. My favorite story is Ogun and Oshun. And then my second one is Shango and Oya. So with me having, I like to use YouTube a lot for research in addition to PDFs that I find or audio where they do audio and they're reading the book like I read the book to you. They're reading the book to me so that I can learn. It's always a learning process. So I came across, after I did this all night, I spent 3 days, 2 to 3 days getting everything together from scratch um, for later so I could put it in a Word document because all I had was my Canva document. So after doing this for 3 straight days, my YouTube was like, I don't know what she's doing, but this must be what she's into. So it started giving me African folklore to people I was not aware of were out there to listen to. And and so I started listening because I like African folklore. And I like watching the different type of outfits they were wearing and some of the customs and what they did or didn't believe, what was considered appropriate, what was not, by reading the comment section by some of the people who would watch and be like, well, no, that's not part of, and the religion and things of that nature. So it's a learning experience. But one of the people that I ran into, his name is Uncle Sam. And he has he doesn't have many videos up, and I mean, but he's got a few. And so in the comment section, he said, write your name down and I'm going to do a story about you. I said, oh, okay. So I wrote my name down in the comment section. And so last night, he did not a story about me, but a story in my name, rather. So I'm going to break down how I identified this story a little bit at a time while we listen to storytelling. I guess today is storytelling day, apparently. All right, let's go. The title of this.
He then asked the woman, can we break the curse? The woman said to him, did you ever open your mouth and say any marital vows to Denelsia? That was when his mind ran back to that night he came home tired. He said yes, but it was nothing serious. The first time you made love to her, there was a blood covenant between you and her. And the night you said those words, you sealed yourself as her husband. And when you kicked her out, her children, which she aborted, who now lives in the spirit world, are fighting to kill you because of their mother Denelsia. He then asked the woman, can we break the curse or appease them with money? I have a lot of money. Just name the price I will pay.
And it's on
Muda smiled and said, in this case, money has failed. You have to go and get your wife, unless your life on earth is over. Hello guys, before we get deep into this story, please subscribe, like, and appease them with money. I have a lot of money. Just name the price I will pay. Muda smiled and said, in this case, money has failed. You have to go and get your wife, unless your life on earth is over. Hello guys, before we get deep into this story, please subscribe, like, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified once we upload a new video.
Now,
thank you. Once upon a time in a city called Buchanan in
before we get started, never met him before, never talked to him before, didn't ask what the story was going to be about, didn't know what the expectation would be. So I just want to let you know that ahead of time. I found out everything about the story after the story was concocted and posted. All right? Let's see. While we're listening, I'm going to write down the notes. All right, so I didn't know who's going to be wife, who, what, when, where, or how. Let's continue.
Buria, there lived a handsome young man named Francis Corion. Francis is 26 years old and very intelligent. He is into coding and app development. He has a team of 3 other young boys he works with, and they have always delivered on their jobs with big companies.
I didn't know who Francis was. Francis made a comment on the YouTube video with his name in it. And I said, well, let me go see what Francis looks like. I said, oh, Francis is a handsome young man. He started a YouTube channel a few years ago. He's got a couple of items posted, but he doesn't do a lot of posting. Very muscular and attractive. Let's keep going.
So it's safe to say, Francis is very rich and don't know what to do with money. He changes girls every now and then. Once he gets tired of a girl, he tells her it is over, or he finds a way to set her up and ends the relationship. His friends have warned him about his wayward lifestyle and told him to stick to one girl, but Francis, who calls himself the woman conqueror, was not ready to stop. One day, as Francis and his girlfriend Samantha
as a form of a Shango. That's how I identified with Francis in this video.
came home from the club, he accused her of flirting with another man in the club and asked her to leave his house. She cried and begged. She told him she never flirts with anybody, but Francis, who was already tired of her, refused to listen and asked her to leave. When she refused, he pushed her out and locked the door. Samantha left that night without her things. That night, Francis called his friend Eric and told him he has gotten rid of Samantha and that he needs a fresh girl. Eric said, but Samantha was a good girl, and she never disturbed him for his money, and also, she has had several abortions for him. Francis replied, that is why she had to go. Too many abortions. I don't want her to die trying to have another one. She just gets pregnant at one touch. It's so frustrating. Eric said to Francis,
there's a lot of lessons to be learned in this video. That happens quite a bit, actually, in real life. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure when, where, or why that happens and plays itself out in real life, but it does. So it's not rocket science. Okay. If you are having intimate relationships and both of you don't have anything wrong with your lovely equipment that the Creator blessed you with, eventually, one plus one is going to pop something out. There is too many forms. Just turn my internet on instead of the libraries. So there's a lot of Samanthas. Samantha doesn't mind being used and abused and just having the title. She's not thinking about coins. She's thinking about love. A lot of Samanthas out here running around, heartbroken. They didn't go after the coins. They went after the love first. And they thinking, because I've done this, surely he will do that. So I just wanted to address that briefly. So, yeah. If you're screwing and the equipment works, you're eventually going to pop up with something in the oven, okay? In the hot oven, a bun. And even though you go and if the two decide to abort, that's still a spirit going to the other side before coming back as energy. Okay? So we're going to keep that in mind and we're going to continue with the story. But the lesson there is Sam quit being a doormat. Samantha. All right, let's keep going.
yes, you need to calm down. This thing will catch up with you one day, Francis said. If it does, I will just sort it out with money. The next day, Samantha came over again to plead with Francis. but he was done with her. He gave her a check of $2 million and told her to pick all her things and leave. After Samantha had cried for a while, she took all her things and left. 1 month later, Francis and his...
I think $2 million is a nice payday for someone that was not expecting it. So at this point in time in the story, I'm like, okay, Shango got lots of money. In this story, okay? He can pick, he's the high class sleazeball, okay? Or known as the high value man.
Tim sold another app worth 100 million, so they had to share the money, and Francis got 25 million in the deal. He was so happy he made plans to go and celebrate at the club that night, but he needed a girl to go with him. So he was desperately looking for a beautiful girl to go with. He doesn't believe in taking a girl from the club home, according to him. Most girls from the club are just looking for someone to rip off. As Francis branched somewhere to eat, he met a young beautiful girl named Denelsia, who is just 18 years old.
He don't want nobody to rip him off, but he been ripping off a lot of hearts. Interpreted.
Her mother owns the restaurant, so she goes there from time to time to help out. Denelsia was born and raised in USA. She just returned to Africa to spend some time with her mother.
I'm going to accept that. I would love to take a trip to Africa, the motherland. Yes, honey. That sounds absolutely scrumptious. There's a few places I want to visit over there, actually, especially since I've been writing about Africa. So I said, oh, well, this is nice.
Francis got talking with her and invited her out. She agreed. He picked her up that night and they went to the club. They looked very good together. Francis' friends were not happy seeing the young, beautiful Denelsia with him. She didn't understand why Francis' friends looked unhappy to see them together. She thought they didn't like her, but she was eager to have some fun. It's been 3 weeks since she came back to Africa and she has no friends. There was no one to take her out and show her around, and she has been itching for this kind of fun, so she ignored them. 2 months passed and Francis asked Denelsia to move in with him, and she did. They looked very good.
It's a cute story. You can place me with a millionaire and I'm in Africa. It's a very cute story. Yeah. I'm not about to move in with you. I don't believe in shacking. No, thank you. Normally, shacking means if you're not rich, if you are low or middle class, or even, I don't know about the high class, but shacking interprets normally to you want me to cook, clean, do dishes, still work. I'm not doing any of that. Okay? Not happening.
Together, Denelsia is a very lively girl, so there is no dull moment with her. Because of this, Francis' friends ended up warming up to her. Things were going well, till 4 months down the line, Denelsia told Francis she was pregnant. He asked her to remove it and gave her a lot of money to do so. She cried all night thinking Francis would change his mind, but he said he is not ready to be a father, so she had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the most difficult thing anyone will ask her to do.
Before closing. If you have any materials to be checked out, please take them to the circulation desk at this time. If you need assistance finding materials, please come to the information desk.
Okay.
Friends looked unhappy to see them together. She thought they didn't like her, but she was pregnant. He asked her to remove it and gave her a lot of money to do so. She cried all night thinking Francis would change his mind, but he said he is not ready to be a father, so she had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the most difficult thing anyone will ask her to do, but she terminated the child, and it took her a while before she could recover from the pains she went through, both emotionally and physically. One day, Denelsia was out shopping with Francis and they ran into Samantha. She saw her and Francis and knew.
It is good to have friends. Okay? True friends. Or it is good to have divine interventions. Okay? That way, kind of like YouTube, we talk about a subject matter, and if it resonates with us, we're in the comment sections and we're discussing the subject matter in detail. And we're getting information and we're bouncing that information off of each other, and we're realizing things, and then we act upon the new knowledge and react maybe differently off of that, or we have the knowledge and implement things a little bit differently. So that's what happens when divine intervention happens, or you have a friend that you can trust who has had experience in situations such as these. Okay. Samantha had been through it with him, and they're saying Denelsia went through it. She's going through the same thing, repetitive with him. In the beginning of a relationship, I have relationship books, by the way. Codependent, Silence No More, Supreme Reign, Love Redefined, and Love Folk. In Codependent, Silence No More, it discusses everything that, because to some people, money is not everything. To some people, love is everything. Those are things that need to be discussed up front, not later on down in the line when y'all done been screwing without a condom and you over here getting abortions. That's not the time. The time is at the beginning. What type of relationship is this? Is this going to be something fleeting and we just fucking? Or is it going to be just me and you? We're going to have a whole crew? Is it open? Those are the kind of questions you ask ahead of time. Are you looking for a lifelong partner, or are you looking to just be the party every now and then? So just a few things I just wanted to touch base on. But yeah, it's good to have people who have been through these type of things so that you don't have to go through them. All right.
Exactly what was going on, she looked for an opportunity to talk with Denelsia. When Denelsia was alone, she told her, "I am Samantha, Francis' last girlfriend before you." She told her how she has had over 4 abortions for Francis and he later dumped her for no reason, that Denelsia should be careful since he see that she is next. Denelsia was so confused. As they were talking, Francis walked up to them and took Denelsia away. On their way home, Denelsia asked about...
He got control issues. I have control issues. You're not about to be controlling me.
Samantha, and Francis said she was her ex and she has been stalking him for a long time. That Samantha tried to kill him, so he ended things with her. She wasn't satisfied with the reply she got from
He's a liar.
Francis, so she decided to keep it close to her heart. One weekend, Denelsia went to visit her mom and she told her mom what happened while they were shopping, and the mother promised to look into it. Denelsia's mother is a single mother. She has never been married. All she has time for is her businesses, which she has almost all over the country. So, allowing Denelsia come around.
The mother reminds me of Yimmy, y'all. As far as the energy. She, businesses, ain't worried about no man. Can have one if she want one. She can pull one. Mother of the sea. Got businesses everywhere. So that's what the mom reminded me of.
It's a good thing for her. She would do anything to see her daughter happy. Her intention is to make Denelsia become so comfortable she decides to stay back in Africa and not go back to USA. So whatever it takes to convince her to stay back, she will do it. 8 months passed.
She want me to stay at the beach and not leave. Yeah, okay.
Francis and Denelsia were happy in their relationship, but Francis had been traveling a lot trying to secure a new deal for his team so they can work on a new app. He came home one evening after a 3-day trip and Denelsia handed over to him a paper. He opened it and found out she was pregnant again. This is now the second time she is falling pregnant, Francis said.
My character reminds me of Oshun. Oshun is the party girl. He wants the party girl, but he doesn't want to pick up the party girl at the club. And yes, I am a party girl.
To her calmly, we need to get rid of it. You can see.
Just because you're a party girl, don't mean to use common sense while you're partying.
How hard I work. I am not ready to be a father now. Denelsia, who has been planning the thing in her head, asked Francis one question. Do you plan to marry me? Or are we just wasting each other's time here? Francis tried to calm her down, telling her he will marry her. She smiled and said, if you are telling the truth, then repeat this after me. Francis said yes. What is it? And Denelsia said. So Francis, takes Denelsia Walker to be my lovely wedded wife, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. Francis, who was tired and just trying to get rid of the conversation so he can go in and rest, repeated exactly what Denelsia said and added, are you happy now? Please, baby, you know I love you. Just get rid of this one. Then we can plan for the next one carefully. Whenever it happens again, we will keep it. She agreed, and the next day she...
I don't know what the rules are in Africa concerning when you have kids out of wedlock. In America, if you have a child out of wedlock, and you know who the father is, that's called a child support check. As much money as Francis make, this could have played out a couple of different ways. If the rules are similar, and she wanted the baby, she could have kept the baby, got a bag, and not have moved forward from this part, literally. If that's what the character in this story had wanted.
The library will be closing in 5 minutes.
I'm gonna wrap it
Any
up.
materials to be checked out must be taken to the circulation desk at this time. If you need other assistance, please come to the information desk.
Awesome.
Removed the baby. This time, she was sick for over 3 weeks due to...
If he said he gave her a lot of money for the abortion, girl, we keeping the baby.
The pains she went through. After she recovered, Francis' attitude toward her changed. First, he stopped sleeping with her. Whenever he does, he would use protection. Sometimes he would not talk to her.
Why wasn't you using protection beforehand, before the babies came?
For a whole day, and when he does, he will complain about anything she does in the house. Denelsia never complained. It seems she was expecting it, because all the holes he digs to bring problems that will lead to him saying he is tired of the relationship, she seals it nicely and will never talk back when he is talking. Francis was getting worried his plans are not working out and he didn't know what to do. Even when he keeps her quiet, she will talk the whole day and not mind Francis being moody. One evening, Francis couldn't bear it anymore, so he called Denelsia and told her he can't continue things with her, that she is not the problem, he is. He is not just feeling the relationship anymore. Denelsia laughed very loud and said, "Which relationship?" She said this marriage is for better for worse and we have been joined together as man and wife. Francis was confused. He asked her what she was talking about and she told him. She ran to Samantha another day and learned the truth about him, that she and her mother has prepared everything and he walked right into it by reciting the marriage words. As he did, it sealed it all. Francis was confused and told her she should pack all her things and leave his house, that he is done. Denelsia called her mother and told her it has happened. The mother said okay and dropped the call. She called Francis and said, "I hear you are kicking my daughter out after 2 abortions."
Now the mom is the witch in the story. She's actually called the witch in the story, which I love because I'm witchy. But just wanted to point that out.
Well, she is your wife. When you get tired, you will come and take her back. All we need from you is the bride price whenever you're ready, and ends the call. Denelsia packed her things, with smile on her face, and moved out. That night, as Francis finished working on his computer and laid down to sleep, immediately he slept off. He saw himself running for his life. 2 small boys were chasing him with cutlass on their hands. They wanted to kill him. As he was running, he fell, and as they got close to him, he woke up. It was a nightmare, but it looked so real. He wondered what kind of dream it was, and he got up from the bed and goes to watch television. After a while, he dozed off. He saw the 2 boys chasing him again. This time they caught up with him and were about to cut him with their cutlass, and he wakes up in fear.
All right. So, I love this story. I'm not going to tell you who the 2 boys are. I have posted the video on my page for you to check it out and what the ending ends up being. Now, is that an ending that, first of all, I don't want to have to trick anybody into ever being with me. If we were to ever get together on that type of level, but yes, I think you should check out the video. Leave a comment and what your thoughts were of the video that Uncle Sam did, and what message did you learn from it that I didn't discuss, or maybe perhaps that I overlooked. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Mwah. Have a beautiful one, okay? Oh, thank you for my flower.